Are you ready for your diversion? Diversions are almost guaranteed on all pilot check rides, and they're required for the private pilot airman certification standards under navigation tasks. I really want you to know that the examiner usually introduces the diversion suddenly. Most of the time that's what happens. So for an example, we're cruising along, everything feels normal, you're checking off your times, your fuel, your checkpoints, and suddenly the examiner says something like, "Weather just moved in front of us. I want you to divert to another airport." It's one of those shocking things that we have to handle. The key message is diversions are testing decision-making, situational awareness, and cockpit workload management. The DPE call, another unexpected scenario. You know, this is another thing that can happen on one of your cross country. So instead of the weather scenario that happens, maybe it's he just got a call from a friend and they need to divert to another airport to pick up that passenger. I want you to divert us to XYZ airport. And this is something I want you to take some time on to pause the video and think of what you would do in this scenario, how you would handle. Because there's no pause in flight. The student must continue flying the airplane, navigating while calculating heading, fuel, and time. I really want you to emphasize the aviate, navigate, communicate priority. First thing, aviate, fly the airplane. I want you to maintain control of the aircraft. Maintain cruise altitude and airspeed, keep the airplane trimmed and stable. Engage the autopilot if you have one. Many students immediately look down at the charts and forget to fly the airplane. From me, an instructor, to you, the student, do not rush the airplane. I want you to aviate, manage the airplane first. Step 2, let's select a suitable airport. I really want you to pick an airport quickly, but also intelligently. Some factors that I want you to consider are distance to that airport, the runway length, the overall weather, the wind direction, the services that are at that airport, and the airspace that surrounds that airport. Use the tools that you have, a sectional chart, your electronic flight bag, and the nearest airport function. But you don't need the perfect airport, it just needs to be a safe and practical option. Again, we're looking at decision making here. Step 3, I want you to estimate the heading. Now, let's get a new heading to the diversion airport. A quick method is to draw a line from the current position to the airport on the chart. I want you to estimate the heading using the compass rose. I want you to determine the true course and really apply the wind calculation. Just a quick estimate on the wind correction. Convert it to magnetic heading. We use that through the sectional chart, but it doesn't have to be perfect. What the examiners really want to see is the logical process, a reasonable estimate, and continuous situational awareness. That's why we always go back to step 1, fly the airplane. Step 4 is I want you to estimate the time en route. Next, you're going to determine how long the diversion will take. Estimate distance using the sectional chart scale, using your current ground speed. So let's get into a quick little mental math example. 120 knots ground speed equals 2 miles per minute. So for example, if we have an airport that's 24 miles away from us, divide that by 2, you get 12 minutes. A teaching point for you would be the DPE wants a quick mental estimate, not that perfect math. If you have an E6B, use it, but use it smartly. Fly that airplane. Next, I want you to estimate fuel required. Let's see how much fuel we need for this diversion. I want you to use your current fuel burn rate, multiply by the estimated time. So for an example, we have an aircraft that is 10 gallons per hour burn with a 12-minute flight. So our fuel needed is about 2 gallons. Step 6 is I want you to turn the aircraft towards the diversion airport. Again, number 1 is fly the plane. Once the heading is estimated, turn the aircraft towards the diversion airport and begin navigating visually or electronically. Some students finish calculations but forget to actually turn towards the airport. The diversion should start immediately once it's put on you. I want you to plan your arrival. And again, this is a normal airport, but some things that you need to consider for the arrival and landing phase is the pattern entry, wind direction, and again, that comes into listening to the weather ahead of time, the traffic and what pattern they're using, and talking to everyone. That kind of goes into the communication. Let's monitor the airport frequency and prepare for a pattern entry. Diversions test forward thinking, not just navigation. Some common student errors I see is fixating on your charts instead of flying the airplane. Again, situational awareness is huge. You want to be able to fly the airplane, but also divide your situational awareness between the charts and flying the airplane. Trying to be too precise with your masks. It's a quick, logical estimate. Forgetting the wind correction, that is something that can be really big and push you off course. Delaying the turn towards the diversion airport, and having poor situational awareness. Diversions reward efficient thinking and prioritization. Now, why this matters beyond the check ride, diversions aren't just a check ride maneuver. They happen in everyday real life. You got to understand weather changes. You might have a mechanical concern, a passenger that may fall ill. Your fuel planning may have changed as you've progressed through the flight. Airspace or temporary flight restrictions may spring up. But just know that a good pilot should always be able to quickly and safely change plans in flight. I want you to go over everything again. There's a lot that is into this, but it's very important that you go over how to aviate, select your airport, estimate your heading, estimate time, estimate fuel, turn towards that airport, and plan their arrival. I want you to kind of do those all simultaneously while flying the airplane. Remember, aviate, navigate, communicate. Diversions are one of the most realistic check ride scenarios because they simulate real-world decision-making under pressure. Thank you for joining Mock Check Ride May. This was the third week. We'll see you next week for the final week of Mock Check Ride May.
You've always dreamed of flying. Less paperwork, less time, less cost, but all the freedom. The Sport Pilot Certificate is the fastest path to the skies. And now MzeroA has everything you need to get there. Our brand new Sport Pilot course gives you the knowledge, the confidence, and the edge to pass your written exam and take flight. Your dream is cleared for takeoff. Enroll today at MzeroA.com.